some people, especially in light worker circles, have seen this year as, okay, now it's really going to happen. Massive cultural changes, social changes, even planet-wide changes. You've seen this year come and go almost already. What are your insights? How is 2012 moving along? What has happened in your view?
Well, first of all, the supposed light worker teachers that should know better, but found it to be a money-making event, has perpetuated a lot of fear around this issue. Fear of doomsday, get ready, be prepared, stand together, we better pray, etc., instead of saying, you change yourself, you change the world. This is what it holds, this is how you change it. Instead of doing that, but it has caused people to look at their lives more closely. On the downside, it has caused waves of fear around the planet. And fear decreases resources, and so we've had a very tight financial year in many countries. We have gone through March, which was a financially a tricky month because the light workers did their work on themselves. We went through August, which was an even more tricky month in terms of war. Potentially a third world war could have started in August. We went through it because they did the work on themselves to heal the war within. And now we are looking at December, round about the solstice, and it is again a tricky time. But it is absolutely avoidable. And what it is about is the end of structure and the beginning of spontaneity, because it's the end of time and the beginning of the eternal moment. And the lecture that I will be giving in Belgium will be very, very much centered around this is the end of time. Let's celebrate. So the fact that you are changing your radio show is completely in harmony with what should be done. It should be more spontaneous. My teaching methods also have vastly changed. So then the thing that this has resulted in, because of people have been scared of annihilation, etc., etc., it has made them more in touch with, is there more to life than what I'm living? Secondly, many people have been displaced, lost their jobs because of recession, and this has created, again, a breaking of old patterns, which allows the influx of new energy. And so what 2013 holds, I just had an invitation from Sedona Journal to write in their December issue on prophecy for 2013, and I briefly looked at 2013, and I could see that people were returning more to the earth, more to simplicity, more to family values. That in many instances, they were finding ways to make society in a new way, and that a lot of our youth were leading the way with that. And they were eating more healthy foods, the dizzy race that they've been on to just stuff things in their face and grab McDonald's on the go, and a lot of that will change to more responsible living. So in other words, living will go from a shallow spinning reality to a more meaningful, deep, still reality. The nature of life changes from this year.
I have one more question and then we're going to let you go. And thank you so much for that answer. Late August, between the 20th and the 30th of August, a lot of people in our light family across the globe have experienced major changes in their lives. Also just a very uncomfortable feeling of being in physicality. Dani is asking the question, what has happened with the how would you say, the workshop that has been done with your materials in Russia. How does this connect to things changing in the world, and specifically perhaps in the time frame of the last part of August?
Well, there's a couple of questions in your question, so let me just start with one of them here, and if I miss some, just tell me. A lot of health challenges have come up for people that thought they were beyond it. A lot of them. Heart attacks, strokes, things like this that people would not have thought could happen because they've known themselves to be immortal. Illness is not something that only strikes mortals. Illness is something that is a discordant note that you are playing because you forgot to play the right note. So it's a note in a music piece that's held too long, and that can apply to any level of life. So the sickness indicates things that you are not living, songs in your life that you are not singing. The slowing down of life that is the gift of 2012 will assist us to better do that, to take the time to see what makes our hearts sing, to not allow tyrants like our work to only run our lives, but to do our work with so much passion, and that which is passionless, we understand this is either something I need to change my attitude, or this needs to be steered in another direction. It's a steering mechanism. And so the illness has come quite a bit. Now, what I'm going to be addressing, we have a global free symposium that we hope all our listeners will join us on for New Year's Eve. There'll be 5 hours of lectures in Russian, Danish, etc., many languages from around the world, Spanish, French, and we will have English speakers, and then at midnight I will be speaking on this very subject. And I will also at that time be addressing something that, I start a men's workshop here in Newport. Tomorrow they start to arrive, and we have about 25 men that will be here all week. This is the first time that they will be prepared to bring in, and they will do the preparation by doing some of the first concepts in practice of intermediate Irash Sattva Yoga. Intermediate Irash Sattva Yoga is for the feminine, the soul within. It's for the soul. This is called the yoga of the soul, Irash Arakna Baruskava, the language that heals the soul. And the Irash Sattva Yoga brings healing to the feminine by empowering its masculine so that it doesn't come out in a jagged way. Because the feminine, when the masculine and feminine don't express properly together, will come out in a jagged way. The missions, if you will, that we've sent to Russia, including yourself and our beloved brother Mark, and on and on, we've had several people go there recently, Jan, Simon, etc., has been to bring light to Russia where the frequency is so incredibly high, but the light is there to help interpret the frequency. And it is to do with the feminine's healing and bringing it out of stagnation that is going to prevent catastrophe from happening in December. I am going to Moscow myself in November, and I'm there for 2 weeks on location teaching. You've just been there. We've had 2 other of our coupled teachers go over there. Not that they're couples, but they go over there as two, which is incidentally exactly what the Naguals did when Lemuria sent them all over the world. And it sent them so that they could bring balance so catastrophes wouldn't happen. So the yoga, the healing method for light workers and why the increase in these symptoms, I will address at the symposium, and all of this jointly brings the balance to the feminine, so that there's proactivity, not just stagnation.